Hi guys, we're in an area of north central Wisconsin, and we're just in a Meekum Springs area of Wisconsin. I don't know what to make of this, but just a note. Here's a classic mound here, and we're just going to be walking through and trying to identify structure. So we'll catch you further up the trail, and the Northwood section of Wisconsin. And I'm here with Dubhaltagh. Say hi, Dubhaltagh.
How's it going, Don?
Pretty good.
G'day, everybody.
He's a friend of mine. Sort of introduced me to this area, and he's sort of giving me a walkthrough and showing me a beautiful area of the Northwoods, coniferous forest, a lot of pine, and beautiful area. So hey guys, this is film. Yeah, we got some wild edibles here, potentially unidentified mushrooms. So we're not going to taste them or eat them. We thought it was interesting. So guys, here's the area we're at. We're near around a lake, Meekum Springs. It's sort of a headwaters for Meekum River, but this is we're on the Ice Age Trail. It's sort of a national heritage corridor, sort of Wisconsin's version of the Appalachian Trail. Goes all the way up into Canada, and we've got just conifers, pines, and a mixture of deciduous. It's very varied climate, very varied vegetation. So we're going to forge ahead, and here's some fungi. A lot of people come to Wisconsin to pick mushrooms, and I'm just looking for potential evidence or signs of activity that have been reported, I'm sure, in this area, or I'm sure people keep it to themselves and don't report anything for obvious reasons. People fear ridicule, and I understand that. So we're going to go ahead, and I'll just be stopping occasionally to show you some clips of some of the areas we're looking into, but beautiful area. Catch you farther up the trail. Yeah, we're back, guys. We're on the Ice Age Trail around Meekum Springs, and this is a result of a glacier coming through from Canada through this area of Wisconsin, and it's carried it's dredged up a lot of boulders and rocks. Through glaciation, it's deposited these huge and smaller boulders all throughout this area. It's a big boulder, and it's been here probably literally for thousands of years. And we find this on both sides of this trail, all throughout this area, around the Meekum Springs, which is is the headwaters of Meekum River. So here's sort of a view of some of the open field and terrain, with some of the trees in the background. So sort of a little tidbit or FYI for anybody who's interested in this part of Wisconsin. Catch you further up trail, guys. Hi guys, I'm back, and we're encountering some potential leans in this area. Here's one directly in front of me, and if I look back, you'll see this is the direction we came from. That's my back trail, and when I sweep around, okay, there's that lean. There's one right there in front of me. I'll see several leaning the same direction. Here's one right directly in front of me. I'll walk up on it. Really weird. It's sort of like placed around the tree. It's all debarked. It's sort of fork shaped on the end, and it comes down into the ground. undecided, but it's debarked. It looks like it's been here for a long time. There's another lean there. We found like 3 or 4 all just like this, leaning in the same direction. And it could be natural, but it's sort of coincidence. And there's another one right next to it, and they all go up into the top of these trees, almost to it looks like they're almost tied together at the top, but they're just leaning pretty close to the same, touching the tree very close in the same position up top there. So we're just walking through this area. We're encountering a lot of leans in this area, in this part of south of Meakin Lake on the Ice Age Trail. This Ice Age Trail goes all the way up into Canada. So we're just, here's a big one here. You'll see if you look up to the top of it, it's comes down. This has to be 45-50 feet long, and we'll see it's actually been pushed over or fell over. I believe here's what's left of the root ball here in the bottom. So we're going to move on and see what we find. Here's another either lean or pushover right here, and see how it's actually, let me zoom in on top and show you guys this. Pretty interesting. This is a lean or something that's been laying here for a long time. Actually, the bark on the tree it's leaning against is growing around the branches. The trident shape on top are embedded into the tree. The tree has grown around it, which is really unusual and strange. You'll see that a lot though. I mean, you can see barbed wire that comes in contact with the tree, and then years later that barbed wire is engulfed by the tree grows around the barbed wire. But interesting that some of these lanes look like they've been here for a long time, and some of them are questionable, are just happenstance. If you look ahead of me, there's another lean here, all debarked, going up, leaning on this. It fell perfectly and trapped itself. I don't know, guys. Let me get a side view of this. It goes all the way to the top, and it's sort of trapped between that branch and the trunk of this sapling up here. So something to think about. Here's something a lot of people miss and they ignore. Here's 3 branches that converge into like an X right here. Laying in the crook of this double tree coming out of the ground. It's an X right there, and then there's a branch, as always in some of these X's, there's a branch laid out right in the middle. So something to think about. Catch you further up trail, guys. Okay guys, I'm back. I want to show you something. There's what I guess you refer to as a perimeter fence line. I want you to see these 3 trees here. Large branches were sort of weaved through the crook in this section where this tree is, and this dead section of tree growing, and this has been sort of weaved into there or pushed in to create like what I call a fence line. And it comes around, continues down, creates a natural border, and then terminates in what some people would say is just a convergence of a bunch of trees. And then as you look up, you have two trees, two lanes meeting at the top of this structure. So to me, this doesn't appear natural at all. It looks like this was placed here, especially there where they're pinned. It looks like they were inserted, and they continue down, further down there. Let me zoom in and show you. They continue through a pin between this crook and the tree, and then they will wrap around in sort of a circle. It's almost like it's a perimeter or fence line area that was created. So I just want you to say or be aware that there is potential evidence. This to me is very strange, and it doesn't seem natural. It looks like, and these trees were brought here in the lanes that this fence line terminate in. This fence line terminate in a conjunction of all these other trees right here. The fence line comes, sweeps around, and ends in this convergence of a bunch of trees, and then they go uphill these two lanes into this tree here. So I thought that was interesting. So we're going to come over to another spot that I think has potential too, or some significance. I thought this was sort of getting a little crazy here, but here's a mishmash of branches, all sort of a convergence in one area. That tree fell here, as you can see, pinned itself into this other section of trees, and there's a mishmash of branches and deadfall just laying here. Now to me this would appear natural, and this is just Mother Nature, but it's pretty interesting. But this is below a small berm off the trail we just came off of, and there's a lot of deadfall right here. And I'm sorry for the quick pans, guys. I'm trying to make a conscious effort to slow down my pans and the jerkiness. And we're just a lot of fall down and deadfall. So we'll resume a little further down trail, guys. Thanks for watching this part of the clip. And hi guys, I'm back. I want to show you another sort of strange sort of group of lanes. Here's a primary lane right here. Has this narrow fork in it, and it was brought here. I look at the base of it, and this was stuck in the ground here, right where my foot is. No root ball at all. So I follow it up, come to this fork. There's a second lane in the fork of it. I come around to the other side. There's a potential third lane. Looks like it was placed here. I come over here, and here's a smaller fourth lane. Right there. I look overhead in the canopy. Very hard to tell where they all come from, but there's something in common with these three that are leaning together. Something that I want to show you right now. As you follow all three of these lanes up, they all seemingly, strangely enough, they all converge at the top, two of the three, in the fork of this living tree. And I'll zoom in and you can decide for yourself. Chance, everybody? Personally, I don't think so. I believe these were brought here and placed. They're all debarked, and there's four in a small grouping right here around this tree right here. What it indicates, I don't know, and I'm not going to speculate. Now this, the possibility this was placed here too, but it's more subtle, not as definitive. So I guess it's up to you to decide. I'm just here presenting the possibility. And Dubhaltagh, he's just finding signs left and right, and I'm just trying to follow. He's sort of guiding me into areas. First time I've been in here, and he's more familiar with the area than I am. So we'll be back, hopefully further up the trail. Hi guys, I'm back. Here's another, what appears to be a branch that was pinned, comes through this crook in the tree, and you follow it down right there, and goes into the crook of this other tree. Right there. Can't move it, it's pretty tight and wedged in there. Which is interesting because it goes around this one and through the crook right here, and it's wedged in there. I can't even move it. And then if you look back where it comes from, it somehow weaves its way around between the crook and that tree, and like I said a second ago, is shoved into the crook right here of this tree here. It doesn't look like it would naturally fall in this position. It almost looks like it was placed there. So another food for thought possibility. And I'm going to walk up this deer trail. Yeah, Dubhaltagh. Okay. You find some scat?
Yeah. And that's direct. That goes toward his cornfield.
Okay.
So just an area of interest.
Also, I want to show you this, guys. There's yeah, Dubhaltagh, he's in here tracking deer through this game trail area, this section of the woods around Ice Age Trail. I want to pan back and show you something. I thought it was pretty interesting and compelling. I've got two lanes right there, right next to each other, parallel lanes. You follow them all the way up, and they're pinned right up there into that living tree. So they're sort of trapped. One of the lanes is a forked end right there. It encapsulates that living tree, surrounds it, and then the next lane is trapped below it. They all converge at the top in the same spot, and you come all the way down to the base of these lanes, and you can see there, to me, is pretty good possibility that one or both were brought here. Well, I've got the sun in the foreground, so it's sort of messing with my exposure. Yeah, it's the sun. Yeah, but this was not. This looks like it was brought here. Let me go around to the other side. Yeah, at the base of that, it looks definitely like there's no root ball right there, and it was stuck in the, moved over here, stuck in the ground. And then the one over here next to it, same thing, same scenario. Usually when there's a root ball, you'll see a big root ball sticking up out of the ground after it's been pushed over. These look like they were also brought here, or compelling enough to say that was a pushover from years ago. Both of these parallel lanes that converge and go uphill together literally no bark on them either. So it's just something to consider. And I'll catch you in a minute later on up the trail.